Hi, everybody. My name is Mikia Mole, and joining me this time is my friend Will. Will, would you like to introduce yourself and shout out any social media platforms you might want to get out there and have them check out?
No, man, I'm as well. You can find me on social media with neither Mr. Charles, or you can find me Mr. Lucky One. Um, on Instagram and Mr. Charles or the Lucky One, Mr. Lucky One, and on TikTok. So, um, I'm out there do my thing, and actually, this one's actually my family doesn't even know yet. So
Oh, really?
as they really haven't even know yet because I just finalized it today. So I'm hoping that my wife is not behind that door because I told her earlier she'll find out in about 10 days. But as of today, I'm actually a certified life coach as
That's
of today. So I
awesome, man.
finally I passed my test and I'm so you get that. You get to hear that first.
That is awesome, dude. I'm so excited for you. I'm already subscribed to
For
your
sure.
YouTube channel too, man.
Appreciate it. But we'll have some fun today. This one's all about you and then all about um the topic we're gonna be talking about today, Star Wars.
That's right. So, everybody, what we will be talking about is the news that was announced, I believe, on my birthday, actually, February 25th of 2025. So, I'm going to share my screen real quick. All right. So, Star Wars boss Kathleen Kennedy planning to exit Lucasfilm at the end of 2025. For those of you who don't know, Kathleen Kennedy is the president over at Lucasfilm after George Lucas sold Lucasfilm to Bob Iger, the CEO of Disney. She has been in charge of all the projects, anything Star Wars, anything movie, TV show, cartoon related, Star Wars related, has all had to go through her first and get her stamp of approval. Um,
Well,
and a little bit down further, as you can see right here, it says Kathleen Kennedy, the longtime president of Lucasfilm, is expecting to step down at the end of 2025. She intends to retire after her current contract ends, according to a source with knowledge of her plans. A separate source close to Kennedy, however, dismissed the initial report by Puck as pure speculation and said nothing has been decided. Kennedy joined Lucasfilm in 2012 as co-chair alongside Star Wars creator George Lucas. Shortly after, Lucas exited his post as Disney acquired the company for $4 billion, and Kathleen Kennedy was promoted to president of Lucasfilm. Now,
mhm.
to give everybody a little bit of background on who Kathleen Kennedy is and just how important she is, I am also going to show you guys her IMDb. So if I scroll down, what you guys will see is that she has been in Hollywood producing movies, it looks like as early as 1982, starting as an associate producer for the movie directed by Steven Spielberg, Poltergeist. And then from there on up, that's movies like E.T., Indiana Jones Temple of Doom, Gremlins, The Goonies, Back to the Future, The Color Purple, let's see, Empire of the Sun, Who Framed Roger Rabbit, The Land Before Time, Back to Future Part
She,
2, Gremlins
she
2,
has
Back to the
she's
Future
been on
3.
around.
Yeah, she's been doing movies for a long time. I also know she served as producer on, I believe, episode 5 and 6, which would be Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, as well as Cape Fear, Hook. I mean, the list goes on and on. Jurassic Park. So she's worked with, and Schindler's List. Wow. So she is a great producer. Nobody can take that away from her.
Yeah.
She is a fantastic producer. Um, she has worked alongside directors such as George Lucas and let's see, M. Night Shyamalan. I think I saw somewhere further up that she. Oh, look at that! She worked on Twisters as well. Oh, she worked on The Sixth Sense, and Signs with M. Night Shyamalan. George
Wow.
Lucas, Steven Spielberg. I mean, she has worked with some incredible talents in Hollywood. But the problem is, once you go up to post 2014, after the purchasing of Lucasfilm from Disney, we get our first Star Wars movie, Star Wars Episode 7, The Force Awakens, that dropped in 2015. She was a producer on the film, and it got a 7.8 on IMDb. Open to pretty uh overall positive, but definitely some mixed criticisms in there of saying it was too much like
Mhm.
A New Hope, Episode 4, A New Hope. Then we the following year we got Star Wars Story Rogue One, which was also a very good Star Wars movie. It's starting to look like Star Wars was back. And then in 2017, the bomb dropped. Star Wars Episode 8, The Last Jedi. Arguably the most divisive Star Wars movie ever made at a currently sitting at a 6.9 on
So,
IMDb. And then after that, you got like a variety of shows like the Book of Boba Fett, Obi-Wan Kenobi, Andor, Willow, The Mandalorian, Ahsoka, the worst of all, The Acolyte, Skeleton Crew. I didn't think was too bad.
yeah.
But so yeah, she's been in Hollywood and been doing working as producer for a very long time, and to with some very solid acolytes underneath her under her belt.
Okay.
Will, what would you think so far of how she has done managing the property and the very popular and beloved IP that is Star Wars? And how do you think
Yeah.
that the fan base is in its current state?
Here's the thing. I think one of the biggest thing, the way I would like to start this is it doesn't matter who you are, um, or how much experience you may have. When you partner with a company that that is so the words such a major player in the industry in Hollywood, such as Disney, right? The culture or the person that is driving that culture and then the expectation that they have from you, it can take you, it can it can take you to the height, the peak of your career, or it can really completely like push you to the side and create um a negative name or negative and make an impact, a negative impact, right, of your career. So I mean, as you just show us, she had she worked with a lot of big players, a lot of great producers, a lot of great directors. She really has a lot of experience. You can say, right? Um, and for her
Yeah,
to basically
absolutely.
get to this level, for her to get to this level, and I'm sure because of the caliber of people that she's been around, I'm sure that had contributed to her getting to that position on
Absolutely.
Disney,
I
right?
agree.
Right. So now what we gotta say, what we have to look at is, okay, what happened when she got into Disney? What expectation did they put on her? That's one. And then two, what type of screenwriters, screenplay or other producers that they put around her to cause such a, again, I don't want to say disaster, but uh to really not make such an impact in a name, a brand, a household name such as Star Wars, to take it to on a bigger level. Now we're looking at those fans. Those fans are like, what the heck is happening to this franchise?
That yeah, that's
Right?
absolutely right. And like you said, she has worked with and for a long time too. She's been in this industry for a
Oh,
very
long
long
time.
time, working with what we would all consider to be among the best of directors, screenwriters, actors, fellow producers. I mean, her very first film was Poltergeist, which was one of Steven Spielberg's first uh kind of tiptoeing into horror. I'm not sure if that
Mhm.
was that before or after Jaws. I'm not actually. That's after, right?
Uh, that's after Jaws. Yeah, that
Yeah,
was
it's after
after.
Jaws.
That was after.
So
Yeah.
so she's already working with an established director and as a producer. For those of you who don't know how film works, to get to a producer's role, you not only do you have to know people, you have to have the know-how of budgeting, how to get those budgets
Yeah.
accumulated, how to separate those the accumulated budget into the proper departments so that way the director, script supervisor, and lead of production all have their I guess crews that know what they need to do, how long they can be there. They manage everything from budget to time all the way down to scheduling. So
Yeah,
it
it's a very structured thing.
yeah, they basically handle all
Mhm.
the structuring. So this episode of Cinema Falls is in no way throwing shade to Kathleen Kennedy. I do not want this to come across that way. But I cannot sit by and just ignore the damage that she has done to a property that I hold very dear to my heart. And unfortunately, it's just she wasn't right for this role. I have no
Yes,
doubt
yeah.
if she would have stayed a producer inside Lucasfilm, she would have brought us up probably some of the best Star Wars movies we've ever seen. They disappointed the wrong person to be president of Lucasfilm, and unfortunately, it is she was the person that George Lucas handpicked to be president of Lucasfilm because he knew her so long and he trusted her. And one
Mhm.
matter of fact, I don't know if you know this, Will, but one of his terms to turning over Lucasfilm over to Kathleen Kennedy was that she kept to his notes and did the sequel trilogy as close as possible to because he already had episodes
Wow.
7, 8, and 9 written. All she had to do was, for the most part, stick to stick to the stories and make sure they didn't break the continuity.
Stick
Which
to the script and get the right people in play to really
exactly,
bring it to
to,
life, right?
exactly, and to honor the story that he wrote. And by no means does she do that. She openly admits she's done that. George Lucas has come out stating that uh, what Kathleen Kennedy has done with Star Wars is not what she promised him she was going to do. Uh,
Mhm.
and right now, that's why the fan base is in disarray. Right now, I'm actually looking at. There was something you said earlier, Will, that got me thinking about how many uh, canceled Star Wars projects have been announced and then canceled under
Okay.
her leadership. And I mean, the list just goes on. We got a Boba Fett movie that obviously got turned into a Disney Plus series. There's also a Obi-Wan Kenobi trilogy that got turned into a Disney Plus series. Then we have the Game of Thrones creators, David Benioff and D.B. Weiss. They were going to make a trilogy of Star Wars movies, which I would have been very interested to see. That was announced, canceled. Colin Trevorrow was actually set to
Mm.
direct Episode 9 before the backlash they received on Episode 8 before, and then they decided, you know what, let's go back and hire J.J. Abrams, the guy who did Episode 7, because that feels like a safer bet. And I mean, there's just so many canceled Star Wars projects that they've announced and canceled. I remember the I'm sorry, I'm spacing her name. Patty Jenkins, the director of Wonder Woman, was slated and scheduled to direct a Star
Mm.
Wars movie that would have been called Rogue Force or Essentially, it would have been about rebel X-wing pilots. Her father was a pilot, like a real naval pilot that did battle. She would have been perfect for the movie. They did this whole promo video about her directing it, and it all just fell through the cracks. So, I
I
guess
think
go ahead.
no. What I was gonna say, man. I think it just there's two things I think. Is one, Star Wars has, like, when it comes to the fan base, right? Has always been kind of like divided based on different sequels and based on directors and what was expected, and then like what kind of like what the past looked like, right? That part I think has always been divided in a sense. The different type of, I guess it all depends on the household you grew up in. If
Yeah.
you
Well,
grew up in a household like where, go ahead.
I was gonna say I know exactly what you mean. It's Star Wars is a very generational medium. The people that
Yeah,
grew up
it
on the
is.
original trilogy didn't like the prequel trilogy. People that grew up on the prequel trilogy didn't like the sequel trilogy. And then
Disabled
probably
children,
about
yeah.
10, 15 years from now, the people that grew up watching these newer movies are going to love those movies. I mean, Star Wars is made for kids, and they just don't get a voice until they get older. I'm a
Yeah.
prequel trilogy kid, and I finally have a voice to speak my mind on how I feel about the prequel trilogy, and I personally grew up with it and loved it.
Hmm.
You know?
It's divided. I mean, just it's kind of like if your grandparents, parents, um, they get to tell you really what they like and how they see it and the first time and all that, how they grew up and things like that. It definitely changed things a little bit. And then you have the new generation,
Hmm.
or the studio is trying to connect with the new generation with the hope that they bring back the old generation to come and see it. Of course, money always play a heavy role in theater or in Hollywood. Um, so the next big thing I kind of want to say is Disney. Disney, Disney, Disney. It's such
Yeah.
a such a gigantic, um, I guess you can call it, corporation that really, man. Here's the thing. I'm not sure if you really want me to really get into Disney because I'm really not a fan of Disney.
No, no, please do. Please do. Like, you know, dig into them. I'm not a big fan of them right now either. So if you want to go at them, man, I'll be right here going at them with you.
I'm just not a fan of them. I really, I don't want to say I don't get them. Obviously, they going after something, but I really feel like everything Disney is, whatever it touch, whatever it purchase, whatever it's trying to get into, you better be prepared that it's gonna take a turn. I don't care
Oh
how
yeah.
great it was. I don't care what the intention. I don't care what they tell you. They're going to keep, or they're going to do with it until they put their hands on it, and then they go and put their own twist. It's done. It's
Exactly.
completely done. There are going to be political hidden agendas behind things, and then I don't know, man. Like, I'm not a fan of the brand. I'm not a fan of the parks. I'm not a fan of when Disney is trying to get into something. And lately, for me, they've been trying to dominate on everything. I mean, I'm not
Yep.
talking about like
Absolutely.
it's not just about it's not just about Hollywood movies and or kid stuff anymore. They just trying to
No.
dominate so much, and it's like, man, yeah, stretching. But again, they do have the backbone. But it's just like, do you really need to dominate so much instead of actually focusing on quality?
Yeah, I agree with what you're saying, and it honestly, I felt like I was the only one screaming out loud, going, "This is monopoly!" When they are
Yeah,
buying
absolutely.
properties like 20th Century Fox, National Geographic, Marvel Studios, and Lucasfilm. I mean, all these properties, Pixar, Illumination, they bought all these
Everything.
properties and nobody came after them for monopolizing. And it doesn't make any sense to me. And then we have them forcing very woke, very far left um, political agendas down their audience's throats when that I mean only 50% of the American population and less than that worldwide lean to the left of American politics. And when you do that, you are alienating 50% of your audience. And Disney, when it was established, was to set out and make movies that the whole family could watch and that were promoting family and American nuclear family views, virtues, and ideology.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah. I mean, again, it's just a matter of like, just kind of like you said, the ideology behind things, the hidden agenda behind the reasoning, their purpose. Um, I mean, it is so detriment, right? It's almost like you got to put when
Uh,
your kids saying they're watching Disney before, you would tell your parents, you're watching the show, like, what are you watching? Right. The moment you said the word Disney, they were like, oh, okay. Right. Because they know
yeah,
the quality, or the type of things they were getting behind it. Right. And then now, and again, it's not just me. I've observed it. It's not because I've actually done it. I've done it. Right. But I've actually observed it in different homes, different families, friends, whatever it is, where it's like, oh, what are you watching? Oh, wait, what is it about? They start asking a deeper question, right? At least it caused the parents to be involved a little bit more what the kids are watching.
yeah,
Right.
exactly.
But at the same time, it's like, oh, I'm on Disney. Okay, what type of show? What part of Disney are you in? You start asking deeper questions because
Yep.
you're concerned about what the kid's going to be exposed to.
Exactly. It used to be safe that hey, if your kid's watching Disney, it's like, oh, that's okay. They're just watching, a Disney movie, a Disney TV show. Anymore now, when the parent hears their kids say, "Hey, I'm watching Disney Plus," they immediately go, "Well, what are you watching
Well,
on
yeah,
Disney
yeah.
Plus?" And there's this immediate concern. And I can't speak for parents, but if I were a parent, I would absolutely be concerned if my parent was watching or if my kid was watching that new Lightyear movie they made, that spin-off of Buzz Lightyear, or that last Star Wars movie or TV show, The Acolyte, where they have these I don't even know if I'm allowed to say this on YouTube, but these lesbian uh force witches that I mean that's not something that should be in a family show, let alone
I'm trying to myself.
Star Wars. I mean that doesn't belong in Star Wars. It doesn't make any sense. So I guess my question to you, Will, is do you think that actually I have two questions for you before we do wrap this up. Do you think Kathleen Kennedy stepping down will be a positive for Lucasfilm, or do you think it's only going to get worse? The two candidates they have are Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau, who directed Iron Man.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. As much as I have a yes and no, and a no, right? Um, a yes because obviously there was there we what they thought they were going to get with her involvement. Obviously, it knocked them out. It did not happen, right? So that actually bring that part. Yes, it will be a good thing for Catherine, right? But for Star Wars. I mean, but the second piece is that what for me is just really what is it that happened behind closed door, right? That did not give her the opportunity to really bring forth the vision. When she was handed the script, when she was handed, because she's been involved with so many great producers, she's been involved with so many great directors, and been around so many different people. She was put in that role, to make a difference.
Here's the
So
thing.
I think they know the yes part where it will be a good thing for the franchise.
Here's the thing.
Now, and that somebody else kind of like can use her, I guess, part of her failure as a step to really bring back the to help the franchise, because that franchise is still remain one of the highest gross movie,
Yeah, it's still one of the most popular
right?
IPs. I mean, when you say Star Wars, I don't know anybody who doesn't know that name.
The-
You know?
I don't care if you ever seen one. I don't care if you ever like. I don't care where you are. I mean, I'm from Haiti. Like people in Haiti know what Star Wars is. Like,
Yeah.
it's it's known in the island. It's known it everywhere. Or you see somebody wearing some shirt or somewhere in out of the country,
So,
and
some
I've
kind of
been there.
merchandise. You know? I mean,
Some sort of merchandise, right? Um, so I but at the same time, as much as the whoever took the next one definitely do have some work to do.
oh yeah.
Here's the
Definitely
thing.
do have some work to do. We
Here's the thing.
division might basically have to come alive, but like again, it's still gonna be one of those things. I hope they don't allow they don't get on there and then just go and allow whoever is in control in
Here's
the
the thing.
Disney part of it to just like I just need you to throw something in there, throw something in there, focus on the money, right? If you throw it in there, just use the name because that's what's been happening right now. Oh, it's Star Wars, or
Exactly.
it's this movie, it's this franchise. Let's just throw something out there. Once they pay, it doesn't matter. We got our money one way or another,
Yeah.
right? Instead
And
of so focus on quality, they got quantity. So
which
um
I agree with. They're pumping out so much on Disney Plus, especially. I mean, I think we've gotten near six, five or six, if you're not including the animated shows,
yeah,
on
yeah.
Disney Plus, and then we have about five movies they've released, and then they just announced another movie that will be directed by a first-time. She her name is Charmin Obey-Chenoy. I think this was in the video you watched where she talks about how she likes making men
And
uncomfortable. They're gonna hire her to direct the next Star Wars movie. That is not
which
called making a smart move of what's best for the
no.
franchise. That is called making a political move to push your and help your agenda. That's what that is.
Absolutely. I really think that whatever that Star Wars again, that is just my that this is for entertainment purposes. Just so YouTube doesn't.
Yeah, just so everyone knows, this is just our opinions. You don't have to agree with us. You guys can leave your disagreements down below. I'll be more than happy to address all of them.
Here's the thing. If you are going to disagree, you know what? I have zero issue with someone disagreeing, but at least
Same.
enlighten me with your perspective, but don't expect you disagreeing going to convince me and align with your thinking,
Yeah,
right?
and
Because
go ahead.
so, yeah, but what I was gonna say, um, that definitely threw me off when she said that in that video, right? When
Yeah,
she said she really enjoyed making men uncomfortable, and again, you know what? I am all for. I'm currently raising three girls, right? I'm all for a woman standing up and a woman having show you ability. You think you have the strength, the power, the words to do what a man do. Absolutely, I will support you. I got you. I'm right there with you, right? But when you're actually using it for political reasons, when you actually think you have this ability, but you like making men feel uncomfortable, like really, what type of men are you around, first of all? And then two, you are going to direct a movie that not saying this is about men, but I think that the agenda behind it is not going to be accepted well. And
no.
you might end up making choices and decisions that
And
completely change the franchise.
mind you, I believe the majority uh of the Star Wars fan base is male. Let me see what.
You know what?
It is, but I really, the again, the thinking and the choices that might be made with someone with that type of thinking, of course, they're going
70
to change it.
70% of the Star Wars audience is male. You're going to alienate 70% of your fan base, of your potential viewership, and possibly the 30% that are women that don't like hearing men uh, talked down to and stuff like that.
Exactly. Exactly.
You're lowering your viewership, you're lowering your chances of actually making money. I mean, for those of you who don't know, when a movie is released, say a movie has a $300 million budget, they have to make 600 million just to break even.
But you break
So that
even.
would
Yeah.
mean you would have to make over $600 million just to make money. And if you are alienating, let's say, 80% of your fan base, there's no way you're going to make even close to that.
And I don't think that the whatever the woke, whatever
Terminology for it
the
is.
terminology is for, has enough of a fan base to really bring the franchise back based on that standard, based on those standard,
Yeah,
right? The
no,
movie, like,
absolutely.
there's no way, like you said, if whatever the budget is, and for something with Star Wars again, and I know technology change, they can say they spent 300 million, but really a lot of it's green screen and all this stuff in there to cut budget into. I can
Well,
understand that.
and promotional actors, I mean,
Promotion.
so much of it goes
Yeah.
into stuff like that. And
Yep. So, one way or another, it's not just about really what you use. It's about the fact that you bringing people together. Those type of franchise, it bring people together. For someone to go to a house, or a friend, or hanging out with people, and they have a conversation about their favorite thing, the favorite actors or favorite scene, it's a conversation starter for a lot of people, right? And especially nowadays where it's so awkward for people to even start talking to one another. But
yeah,
when you have something like Star Wars or certain movies like that, it's an instant thing, right, for most people, and then they dialogue into something else. But when you have a franchise, when you come to Star Wars, yeah, you got to do it. You got to do it justice, man. You have to do it its
exactly.
justice continuously and continuously. Don't worry about basically pumping so much out. Just whichever one hit, it's kind of like, you're throwing crap on the wall and hope one of them stick. No, focus on the quality of it, and the fan will support it.
Exactly. And what's been wrong with Disney Star Wars is that it's been ran by the committee, the higher ups at Disney and Lucasfilm, not by independent directors and artists. They just get a name, they slap it on there and say, yeah, this person directed that, when really it's been written by either AI or some committee writer, and it's been directed by some person that will do whatever the committee says. They're no longer films that are being independently written and directed by directors that actually have artistic vision and have a passion for their craft. It's just to put out another project that they hope
And the
will make
project, yeah.
money. And
Yeah.
before we wrap up and go to our closing statements, I do have one last question for you. One of the biggest things that Kathleen Kennedy was, trying to think of the right word here, kind of attacked for, was that she was trying to force DEI, which is diversity, equity, and inclusion, trying to make sure every race is represented and every gender and sexuality. Um, and so I feel like you're the person to ask this. As one of my friends, and you're a black man, do you feel like you need to see a black person in every single movie and Star Wars and Marvel? I mean, is that something you feel like you need
Oh
to see,
man.
or
Oh
does,
man.
like, it's gotten so nuts to me now, where if like everybody freaked out a couple years back when um the woman in Doctor Strange who teaches Doctor Strange in the comics is a Tibetan man, right? They casted a Celtic woman, and everybody accused Hollywood and Marvel of whitewashing. Now, if so let's say a Latino, a black, or any other race were to play a white character, it would be okay. What are your
Such
thoughts on some of that?
such Here's the thing, boss man. Um, I'm just gonna stick to the DEI part of it. Okay.
Okay,
I'm just
that's
gonna
fair
stick.
enough.
I'm just gonna stick to that one. Um, I'm learning my history. I know a lot of things that we were told was history. Um, really, it's not necessarily history. It was controlled by another race, one way or another, right? Like it can be a different conversation we want to talk about, but when it comes to those type of program, I fully understand that there's a lot of things that is not equal, right? Equal freedom and equal right doesn't really mean any of that until it benefit the pocket, until money is involved, right? Um, but
such
that Hollywood have been trying to change a lot of things
such
when it
such
comes to adding certain actors and actress on a lot of things. Do I want to see a lot of them? A lot of um
such
American Black Americans or African American, whatever you want to call it, um,
such
into getting their fair share? Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. I
I
agree wholeheartedly there.
absolutely want to see that fair share.
I mean, this is
I
America.
this is
Everybody
America,
deserves
right?
representation. I do agree with that.
If you have the talent, um you have put the effort to learn the role, to play the role, then you get the role. Not because of a program that tells you we have, well, you only have, you need to have at least one black guy, right? It's that one black
Yep.
guy that's always the basically that always get eaten first, or get that always get drowned first, or that always basically trip first for the in the movie. Um, but it's it's not because of it should not be because you are being forced to have a specific color or
It should
specific
be
race
because of
in that
merit.
movie. It's the merit thing. It's about
Exactly.
having the who can play that part, who can play the role, right? There are a lot of great actors and actresses out there. I would love for everyone to get their fair share. I would love for everyone to put the work and effort into going after it. And of course, I gotta throw this in there as well. Going after pay. Whenever you were going to pay one race,
going
I
after
will hope you basically, if another race get that role, that you don't reduce the pay because they are a different race.
I agree 100%.
But
Just
is
because
it
somebody's
about
a different race just should not dictate their
it,
payment
that's
whatsoever.
correct. But do we need something for DEI? No, man. I don't really
I
care for
don't,
that DEI thing.
yeah, I
I'm
don't
gonna
think
be
so
honest
either.
with you.
As a matter of fact,
Um, I'm sure somebody going to basically like throw their perspective in the comment. Please do. Please basically tell me why so this, why so that. I am going to hear it. I'd be happy to basically understand your perspective, but I'll just to be clear, I will appreciate your perspective, but it would not change my understanding and my perspective of it
yep.
because we
And
both we because we all live in
and
this life.
exactly. And before we go into our closing statements here, guys, I do want to say you guys are welcome to leave a comment disagreeing with anything Will
Absolutely,
or I said,
absolutely,
and we will
absolutely.
happily address and reply to you guys down in the comments. The only thing I ask is that you guys remain civil and respectful. We can all talk and disagree in a respectful manner. There is no need for calling names or anything like that. We are all here because we share a passion for movies, and we should be able to have those conversations civilly.
Yeah,
And
it's sort of.
That's all I
disagreement
ask.
is a growing opportunity. We have to know that, right?
That's
If
right.
we all agree on everything that we basically say without really understanding it, then that really I'm not growing, you're not growing, nobody else is growing.
Yeah,
So it's
it'd be a
basically
very
say,
boring world.
of course, there's a million ways to do something. It's like, hey man, this is how I do it. This is how I saw. This is what I saw. And then you come in and say, hey man, I don't agree with what you're saying. This is how I do this. But it's not necessarily you don't agree. You just basically just learn or saw a different way that that's possible. And then you would tell me that a different way that's possible. And then now I can implement that difference. I can choose to understand it. That's all it is. We just, but we don't need to basically name calling and let emotions get involved in that because we are human.
Exactly. Now, well, I'm gonna go ahead and let you do your closing statements or whatever you want to say first. Is there, I guess, what are your overall thoughts on Kathleen Kennedy leaving Lucasfilm, and what are the changes you hope to see in Star Wars, and what is it Star Wars has meant to you throughout your lifetime?
I'm gonna keep it short. With her leaving, I think it's definitely gonna give someone else a chance to really bring the franchise back. But again, one way or another, I don't think we will like every fan base going to come together. I really don't think so still, because there's always going to be someone that see things a little different. But I do, what I would love to see is one way or another, well, disagreeing or not, is that it still bring the franchise back, but it still bring the entertainment, the creativity that has always basically goes through the entire movie, and then the vision of being able to see things uh, in a different in a different perspective, right? Star Wars bring when you're watching it, it's kind of like whoa, right? And then it leaves something, this little inner child in you, kind of like excited. I want that back. I would love to see
Yeah,
that back. When you as a child, you kind of like the world of possibilities. um,
exactly.
but also with the positive message behind it. Positive message, like really the world of possibility. But you can everything everything's possible. I mean, we can say there's a lot of things we live in now that when you were a kid you envisioned, but you saw in the movie. So that's what Star Wars gave you. With Captain Living, really, again, it's just a matter of like, hey, you know what? For whatever good that she tried to do, give her credit for that. For whatever uh, intention or whatever she wasn't able to do, you know what? I hope the next person is able to do it.
Yep, I agree. And you know what? With our two possible candidates, actually, I guess it could be three if they want to really move Kevin Feige from Marvel over to do it. But I do think that whoever does step into the shoes of President of Lucasfilm at least learns from the mistakes of not only Kathleen Kennedy, but George Lucas made mistakes as well. And I hope that
Oh,
they learn
absolutely.
from those mistakes and are able to make a Star Wars all of us can show our kids and be proud of and enjoy and have that sense of wonder and excitement when we hear that a new Star Wars movie is released is announced. Because anymore, when I hear a new Star Wars movie is being announced, my reaction is, oh man, another one? Who's doing it? Who's
Another
doing it
one.
this one? You know, and I don't want to feel that way. Star Wars used to be an event when I was a kid. When a new Star Wars movie came out, when you went to go see it in theaters, there were people dressed up in Star Wars outfits like stormtroopers, Darth Vader
Yes, it
is.
was.
I mean, Star Wars was an event, and I want that back. And so I'm hoping with Kathleen Kennedy gone, maybe we can get even a resemblance of that back. And I'm hoping whoever it is, Kevin Feige, Dave Filoni, John Favreau, whoever it may be that steps into this role after she leaves, um, is able to bring that back to us Star Wars fans. Thank you so much, Will,
Definitely.
for joining me, man. I really do appreciate it. My computer's dying. Otherwise, I want to keep this conversation going longer,
Nah,
um,
you're good.
but everybody a bit. big thank you to Will here for joining me. Go check out his YouTube and TikTok. I'll be sure to leave a link to those down in the description below. If you guys leave a comment down there, I'll send this video to him so he can also interact with you guys down there as well.
Yeah, I subscribe to the channel. I check it out. So I watch the comments and I'll read the comments. Just again, educate me. I'm a learner. Whatever it is, again, this is for entertainment. We're just expressing our thoughts and feelings, our
Exactly.
excitement. So it's this basically doesn't qualify us to be anything that nobody else doesn't have the skills to do. So thank you for basically keep watching it and subscribe and tell your friend.
All right, and with all that said, guys, my name is McKeon. This is Will Charles, and I will see you guys in the next one.
I leave. Yes, sir.